We're talking all about reverse retro jerseys, including what does the Ducks 2.0 look like? And how about the other teams? We'll talk about all of that on today's Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
Your Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome everyone to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez, covering hockey for over a decade and collecting hockey jerseys for just about as long. A reminder, this podcast is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is where the game starts. They have you covered with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. All right, so this is just going to be about jerseys today. So if you happen to be watching on YouTube, you're going to see all the jerseys. If you're listening, hey, you know what? You've probably seen the tweets. If you're listening, I will try to describe the jerseys as best as possible. And that's kind of my service to you all. All right, so let's cut through everything else and let's get started with jerseys. So we have to start off with the Ducks reverse retro jersey. And I'm actually going to put it up on this side because I'm going to show you right now what the Ducks reverse retro looks like. It's a really nice jersey, to be honest. I think they hit this one completely out of the park. So to describe this jersey for everyone else, it is a reverse retro from their Mighty Ducks days. And this is basically a reverse of their orange jersey. And just to tell you about the entirety of the jersey, the crest itself has the white duckbill, and the sticks are gold sticks, and the area around the crest is a bright orange. This is an exact retro, and I'm going to take it off the screen so I could show you. I'm actually going to focus in to the background really quick. There we go. So that jersey that you see, the orange one, the current orange alts, you notice that the triangle part, the outer layer, is gold in this one, and the sticks are a lighter orange. And let's bring up the other picture right now. So back to the other picture, you'll notice that it's kind of reversed of that. The logo itself is orange with golden sticks. So that's where it's reversed in that sense. The jersey striping itself is very reminiscent of the old school Ducks. It's a diagonal instead of a straight line. And by diagonal, I mean it's more reminiscent of the 90s and 2000s version. So showing the other picture, the font is reminiscent of the old school 90s and 2000s Ducks. It is not the current Ducks font, but it is the old school 90s Ducks font. And you notice the name up there is of that older variation as well. So I think this is better than the reverse retros last season. Yet the retros, or not last season, 2 years ago, the retros were cool. I mean, I did not hate those jerseys. I didn't. That being said, still weird. Still a little weird to me that they went with Wild Wing busting out of the ice. But still cool nonetheless. Actually, let me show a picture of that while I'm here. Let's show a picture of Ryan Miller, one of my favorite goaltenders. Ryan Miller with his awesome eggplant and jade goalie pads. Yeah, those are nice, by the way. But the jersey itself had that really bizarre font on it with Wild Wing busting out of the ice, but that was in a white base. So the Ducks, for the second time in a row, went for a jersey with a white base, which honestly, that looks fine. Like the first reverse retro, I thought looks fine. This one looks good too. This one, I think, is easily a top 5. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's the best reverse retro out of all 32 teams, but is it a top 5? Yes. Is it a top 10? Heck yes. I've seen some people saying like, well, this Ducks one, it's middle of the pack. And even the hockey guy had this one in the 20s. I'm like, oh, really? Really, man? Like, love you, buddy. Love the hockey guy on YouTube. But this is a great jersey. This is fantastic. This is pretty much giving the Ducks fans what they want. And I would imagine that this jersey is going to sell out pretty quickly. Am I going to cop one? Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the best ones, like I said. Is it great? Yes. Now, here's something else that I mentioned on Twitter. If the Ducks were to take this jersey, that jersey that you see, with that crest, and if they were to combine it with the orange alt, the current orange alt that I have in the background, I would consider the Ducks to have a top 5 jersey set in the entire NHL. I mean, I could probably name a few teams that have a better jersey set, but that's far and few in between. The Kings' current set, it's basic. It's black and white. But I'll talk about the Kings in a second. As far as other teams right now, I mean, here's the jersey sets that I actually do like as far as the National Hockey League as a whole. Arizona's I like a lot. I've always liked the Kachina jerseys. Those are probably among the best in the league. Another one that I have always really liked, Seattle's is just great. Seattle has a great set. So those are among my favorites. Another one that I particularly like, the Minnesota Wild. They just have a solid set all around. Maybe not top 5, but theirs is really good. And one that I absolutely really like, the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames went back to their old 80s style. See, Calgary actually listened to their fans. That's the difference between Anaheim and Calgary. Calgary listened to their fans. The fans liked the old school ketchup red, yellow, and white jerseys. Back to the 80s, back when they won the Stanley Cup with Lanny McDonald back in 1989. I remember that. But what makes Calgary a top tier overall set of jerseys is they brought back Blasty as an official alternate jersey for this season. This season, Blasty is back with nifty little flames on the sides. Yeah, those Blasty alts are awesome. And I'm glad it's not just a one-time reverse retro thing that Calgary did. I'm glad that they brought that back officially for the reverse retro. So yeah, I like it. And it's almost the exact same jersey. So the Calgary Flames reverse retro is identical to the black uniforms that they had in 98 with the kind of weird thing at the bottom, but it was black in the bottom. What they've done for their alternate now is they brought the same thing back, except they added little like hiding flames. If the Ducks could do something similar, if they could have the orange alts, but have like something hidden in their jersey, like, because it is the new prime green jerseys, and they could do something as far as having little hidden things, they could totally do that. So that's something that I would want to see personally. I would want to see the Ducks try to adopt something of that nature, but having that jersey as a permanent home jersey and the white reverse retro as a permanent road jersey. I would love to see it. I mean, come on. Let's. I mean, look at this jersey. It's awesome, right? That is one of the best jerseys out there. That's an alternate. Like, no lie. I mean, I even wore the Violent Gentleman Ducks jersey of that colorway, and I like it a lot. All right, we're going to head into the first intermission, but first, let's talk about Bet Online, which is the one place that has you covered and the one place that we trust. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before because, you know what? You know, the NBA season just started. The NHL season began a couple weeks ago. Football is coming up on weeks 6 and 7. Baseball's dead to me. And you have boxing, MMA, horse racing, other sports. So if you want to check out the latest lines, head over to BetOnline right now using either your mobile device or your laptop. BetOnline is where the game starts, and BetOnline is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. And please gamble responsibly. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. You're locked in with JD Hernandez. And we're talking all about jerseys and specifically the reverse retro jerseys today. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a jersey head. I mean, I'll admit I now have jerseys of all 32 teams. Finally did it. That took a while, but finally got there. And you know, I've talked about just some of the jerseys that I have in my collection. One of my favorite ones, I mean, is literally right to my left, just to kind of show it off because it's always going to be a favorite of mine. How could you not love Patos de Anaheim? I know it's a one-off. I know it's Dia de los Muertos, but I freaking love that jersey. So just kind of wanted to show that just for the sake of showing it. All right, so let's get to some of... Oh, actually, first, before we get to the teams, let me give you the schedule for when the Ducks are going to be wearing their reverse retros. There are 8 games. 6 of them are on the road. So it's going to debut the day I'm running the New York City Marathon. Oh, boy. I'll admit it right now. I'm not going to be watching that game. I'm probably going to be passed out asleep because I'll be running 26 miles in New York City. So I'm not going to watch this one live. But it's Sunday, November 6th against the Florida Panthers. That's when they make their debut. Dang. But I'll be back in town for Tuesday, November 15th against the Red Wings. So that'll be fun to watch. Then on the road, November 29th at Nashville, December 1st at Dallas, December 3rd at Minnesota, December 4th at Winnipeg. Notice something? That's all the same road trip. I'm thinking right now that the Ducks are very likely going to bring just the one jersey set for that entire road trip because looking ahead, like way ahead just in the Ducks general schedule, they have home games on the 23rd, 25th, and 27th. Then they're on the road at Nashville, at Dallas, at Minnesota, at Winnipeg. So that's a literal 4-game road trip, and the Ducks will be wearing that jersey for all 4 road games. So at least that way they can just bring the one jersey for the entire road trip. Woo, lots of old school Ducks reverse retro goodness for an entire road trip. I think we'll now have to call that the reverse retro road trip. Ooh, I like that. Alliteration rolls off the tongue. Then January 24th at Arizona and January 26th at the Colorado Avalanche. So those are the days that are set for the reverse retro schedule. That's going to be fun to watch. Really looking forward to seeing these bad boys in action. All right, let's get to some of the other teams. And I'm actually going to be showing these pictures, and I'm going to do this again, to my left in groups of 8. And these pictures are from the Locked On Twitter. And these are courtesy of Adidas and various teams. So the first one there is the Anaheim Ducks. I already talked about that one. Looks nice. Love the diagonal. The next one, I kind of find it funny that they paired these two together. The Los Angeles Kings. The LA Kings did something really cool that I liked, and this one is also a top 5 reverse retro. They went with a white base instead of a foreign blue base. They brought back their old 70s crown, but instead of it being just one color, they added some yellow to the mix, or some gold to the mix. So it is a very colorful crown in the middle, and you have the foreign blue yolks and the 3 stripes, the one thick one in the middle, and it looks good. They also went with the old font, but the difference between this font is, notice the TV numbers. It's only one color on the sleeves instead of 2. Actually, I think I can show this one right now, because I know I have this one here. There we go. So bear with me here, because I do have a Kings reverse retro as well. So the difference between this one and the other one, this one does have the crown right here, but notice the crown is only one color, and it's just foreign blue, and that's it. This one had the Chevy logo, but in a white background of this part. I mean, this is a nice jersey. And the numbers here have 2 colors on the border. So the TV numbers can be hard to look at from a distance, but still looks very good. So that's what these ones look like. And then going back to the picture that I just showed, little different, but they're both very good. So I do like the Kings one a lot. You cannot go wrong with purple, folks. You can't go wrong with any type of purple color, whether it's foreign blue or eggplants. It's a good color to have. Ducks, are you listening? Are they listening to this? Yeah, some shade of purple works. Yeah, I like it a lot. Going back to the other jerseys, another one that I really love, Buffaloes. I know Annie OD is going to be loving this one, but the Buffalo Goat Head is one of the better ones in the entire NHL. This one's also a top tier one. They went with the 90s Goat Head, but in the current colorway and a white base also. We're seeing a lot of white base jerseys so far. Then you have Toronto's, which is kind of uninspired. It's just a 40s, 50s era Maple Leafs logo with the same exact striping as we'd seen before. So not a whole lot different there. That one's towards the bottom. Arizona's is dividing a lot of people because this is a burnt sienna background instead of the purple one. This one is good. The purple one was better. It's kind of hard to come up with a better reverse retro when you had one as good as you had 2 years ago if you're the Coyotes. But this orange one, I actually do like it. I like the burnt sienna, and the bottom part kind of has a neat little deep sunset vibe to it. So that one's really cool. The Winnipeg Jets, they went back to an era that I like a lot. This harkens back, folks, to the Teemu Selanne days. I'm sure some of you remember Teemu Selanne breaking that record, the rookie record, when he was with Winnipeg, throwing his glove in the air, taking his stick and shooting it down. Who doesn't remember that? And it goes back to that 90s era, but in the current Jets colorway with the white base. I like the Jets one a lot as well. Now, Vegas has an interesting one. Vegas tried to reimagine what it would look like in the 90s, and this actually harkens back to the Las Vegas Thunder and actually more so the Wranglers. How the Wranglers would have these weird kind of iterations of just one-off jerseys. But the cool thing about Vegas's jersey glows in the dark and reacts in black light. The letters in Vegas kind of light up a neon green with a black light. Looks really cool. Then the Tampa Bay Lightning went back to their super bizarro waves, lightning, raindrops falling jersey with a white base instead of a darker base. I've always been a fan of that jersey. I like that gaudiness of the Lightning. So I'll give that one a plus as well. All right, I know it's a time right now, so we're going to head to our second intermission, and then I'll talk about the other 24 jerseys as quickly as possible and as succinct as possible. We'll get to that on the other side. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, JD Hernandez here, talking about reverse retro jerseys. And I went through 8 of the teams. Let's get through some of the other ones as quickly as possible. So once again, I'm going to turn a little bit. I know on this side you have a jersey poster, which looks really cool, but I like having it on this side just because I like it this side. I don't know why. This isn't even my... Oh, this is my good side. I'm kidding. This is my dimple side. You notice I have a dimple on this side, half dimple on this side, but that's neither here nor there. All right. The Calgary Flames went back to their pedestal jersey from the 90s, but with the black base. This is the exact definition of what a reverse retro is. It is taking something from the past, making it different colors, and reversing it. That one's fine. Then we have the Pooh Bear Boston Bruins jerseys with the giant bear on it. Yeah, white base. I like it. It's fine. It's a good jersey. Yeah, I dig it. Now the Dallas Stars went back to their 93 jerseys the first year that the Stars moved from Minnesota to Dallas. And because of that, at the time, there was no Dallas on the top part of that jersey. And it is silver writing with victory green and black with the black base. The definition in the star logo itself looks cool. It gives it a 3D effect. Then you have the Colorado state one. Yeah, the Avs. They decided to go with the state flag, their alternate logo, right in the middle with a white base. I like it. You even kind of brought back that little mountain on the bottom of the jersey. So that one's cool. Minnesota's I like. Minnesota did the exact reverse of the first reverse retro. It's fine. That one looks good. Then we get to the Montreal Canadiens, who supposedly did Montreal colors, but come on, let's be real here. It's Les Expos. It's the Montreal Expos colors. That's what that jersey is. Now, another one of my favorites that's in the top 5, the New York Islanders went back to the Fishermen finally. They did theirs a little bit differently. They went back to the era when they did not have the waves on the bottom. They have a diagonal, but the Fisherman logo with orange and current dark blue. They also brought back the old school fonts. I like this one a lot because they understood the assignment. They didn't go with the waves. They didn't go like completely all in, but they had a different variant with the jersey striping. You went back to an old school logo. You didn't make it exactly as it is, and you even changed the color of the logo itself. This, I think, is one of the better ones out of all 32 teams. Philadelphia went back to the well, had a white base, exact reverse of what they did 2 years ago. Now let's go to the third slide, the St. Louis Blues. You either love it or hate it. This is a reverse retro of a 1967 prototype jersey when they were first coming into the league as an expansion team back in 1967. It is a giant blue note that actually looks like a music note, and in letters it says St. Louis Blues with a yellow base. You know what? That one's fine. That one's good. Now Pittsburgh did something that fans have been clamoring for years. I know Sarah Avampado has come on this show and various other shows, and she's always said, give me the RoboPen. Well, Sarah, if you're watching this, and I know you are, you finally got your wish. The Pittsburgh Penguins finally went back to the RoboPen jersey, but they did it in a black base instead of a white base. Now, the RoboPen had been on a black base before, but with the weird gradient. Now, I'll admit I do have the gradient jersey from the 90s. I have a Darius Kasparaitis jersey. Super cool looking. They've never had one with this striping pattern and with just the logo by itself. So this actually is a very slick reverse retro jersey. And another one of my favorites. This one I think is a top 10 for me. But hey, bring back RoboPen. The fans are going to buy it. This one will sell out. The New York Rangers went with a lighter shade of blue for their Lady Liberty jersey, which is fine. Now the Seattle Kraken, they've only been around one season, but they did something very different. They went to a style that is not the Seattle Metropolitans. What? It would have been cool to see maybe a Metropolitans look in the current colors. I would have liked that. But what they did is they went back to the 1940s. They went really just kind of, I don't know where they went with their hockey history, but there's a giant navy stripe right in the middle, and it's that Seattle teal base, sort of. It's like a half base, because half of it is teal and half of it is that navy blue. And the numbering on the back itself has the teal numbers in a blue base. That's why I say it's kind of half and half. It's a good jersey. It's a little bizarre, but I don't hate it. That one's fine. Now we get to the ones that I'm not too fond of. Detroit, they just went name of city, stripes. It's boring. It's bland. The Sharks one. I'm disappointed in this one. This is just a word mark. And then you have the little stripes on the shoulders, which kind of make it look like a football jersey, not a hockey jersey. I think I would have liked it better if the Sharks went back to the early or to the mid 60s when they were first a team and they showed either the old school Seals jersey or even better. And I actually talked about this with Robin Lianio from Locked On Coyotes. So Robin and I talked about this particular jersey. And she even said, wouldn't it have been cool if they redid the Seals logo, but put a shark instead of a seal? Holy crap. I almost cussed right there. I would have bought that jersey like that. I would have asked JD Young or someone up in San Jose, like, buy me that jersey, like, get it from the team store, do whatever you can. I need it. But this isn't really it. The Devils did a good assignment here. They went back to their Colorado Rockies, Kansas City Scouts phase. They have the current Devils jersey, sort of, but with the old style stripes and in a red, blue, and yellow background. It's a white base, but you have that navy or that royal-ish navy blue, red, and yellow on it. Cool. Really, really cool. Love it. Then the Capitals brought back their Screaming Eagle, but with the black base. Love that one a lot. Final slide. Last 8. Oh, Carolina. They went back to the 90s. That one's fine. Instead of a black base, it's a red base with the Hurricanes, little squares on the bottom hem. That one's fine. That one's good. Florida. They finally did something amazing with the reverse retros. This one is also a top 5 of mine. Florida put the shoulder patch right in the middle. It's a sunshine background with a palm tree and a crossing hockey stick. Stroke of genius with a powder blue, baby blue base. That one's one of the best, if not the best, in the entire NHL. I wish I'd kind of like waited on this because I like this Florida reverse retro better than the one they had before with the penguin on, or with the panther on it. You know what I mean? This one's good. I might get this one eventually. It's so cool looking. Ottawa Senators went back to the Marian Hossa era with their different numbers on the sleeves and the different kind of like housing striping in the middle. That one's fine. The Edmonton Oilers, they went back to the oil drop days, but with the navy blue orange colorway. This one's a good one. Vancouver, I'll say for last. Chicago's is boring. It's bland. Hate it. Bottom tier for me. The Predators they basically just rehashed their mustard yellow jerseys, but did it in the current yellow. Not much different from those jerseys. Not super original. The Columbus one, it's boring. It's a boring jersey. It's basically the current Columbus jersey-ish in a black base. That's it. Now, Vancouver. This one is also a top 5 of mine. They brought the severely underutilized Johnny Canuck logo and put it right smack dab in the middle with a dark blue base and a forest green sleeve with cream color striping. What makes this one even better is the way they utilize the numbers both on the shoulder and even over the heart. The numbers are on the heart of the jersey, and it's a really, really well done jersey. I think this one has been liked by several media outlets, several other hosts. They really love this jersey because who doesn't love Johnny Canuck wearing a toque, holding an old style stick, and skating across with these old style gloves? It looks super cool. So I like that one a lot. So I think my top 5 overall, I'm going to put Vancouver's up there. I think Vancouver's was super original. Like that one a lot. Florida's is gorgeous. So I'm going to give props to Florida as well. The Ducks one, I'll put the Ducks in there. I'll put the Ducks as a top 5. I'll put the Kings as a top 5. And the last one, I mean, that one's tough for me. As far as the last one, I like the Islanders a lot. I like Buffalo's a lot. I like Pittsburgh's a lot. Wow. I think I'm going to go rounding out my top 5. I'm going to go Islanders. I'm going to go bringing back the Fisherman jersey because they finally understood the assignment and did something that looks really good. So those are my top 5 Reverse Retro 2.0 jerseys. All right. Yeah, good show. All right. That's going to do it for this podcast. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Don't forget this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, among others. You can follow me at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter is at LO_Ducks. If you want to drop me a line, lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. And maybe I'll see you at the arena in Ontario. Who knows? There will be one more show this week, and I'll explain all that on the next podcast. The next one's going to be kind of serious. Some of you probably know why. So I'll hold those thoughts for later tonight. There will be a fifth one this week, and then we'll be back to a somewhat regular schedule next week, and then it'll be crazy as I'll be in New York. So once again, thank you for your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. For Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason J.D. Hernandez, saying have a great rest of the day. Please continue to be safe out there, be kind to one another, and Ducks fly together.